How did the books that contain pictures, which the state has identified as containing sexually explicit content, the pictures, and the content that I believe that is sexually explicit in the words, how did they get into the libraries to begin with? The answer is the Cameron School District and all of the school districts across the state of Missouri adopt the guidelines of professional organizations like the Missouri Association of School Librarians, known as MASL. We have adopted their guidelines on the type of content that we should be providing to the kids that are in the school district. I'm getting ready to play an interview for you here, and this woman on the screen is interviewing the president of MASL. Again, this was November of 2022. And she is going to share with us her thoughts on the books. And let me play it for you, and then we're going to talk about it.
As you said, you set us up perfectly to transition to how this bill has actually now been coming into play in the school libraries. And so I'm delighted to introduce our next speaker, Melissa Corey, who is a library media specialist with 14 years of experience in public schools. She's currently serving as the president of the Missouri Association of School Librarians, with a total of 8 years of experience serving on the MASL or MASL, I'm not sure, board of directors. What's actually happening in our schools right now?
So just to give a little bit of background, and I think Senator Shoup gave some excellent information as far as the background of the bill.
I have skipped it forward, and you can see the timelines. If you want to go back and view the whole thing, there you go. This is the president of MASL, the Missouri Association of School Librarians. Our librarian here in Cameron is tied to that organization. She is the president of the regional chapter of MASL. Let's listen to what this woman's getting ready to tell you here.
The one thing about our organization and our profession, a couple points. Number one, we believe in intellectual freedom and we believe in the right to read. So we really truly believe that students should have access to information that they want to access, and they should be able to read the pieces of fiction that they want to read.
Okay, now she is talking about the Missouri statute 573550, which defines sexually explicit content, the books that contain the pictures, books like Gender Queer, that have been removed from school districts across the state of Missouri. By the way, that book is given or intended to be read at the 5th grade level. If you don't know about Gender Queer yet, go look at the pictures. I'm not going to show them to you. MASL has established guidelines that the librarian for the Cameron High School says that she has adopted. When the librarian at the Cameron High School selects books, it is based upon the guidelines that this woman just stated, the right to read. The children should have the right to read books that contain pictures that show sexually explicit content, that shows pictures of penises, of vaginas, that show pictures of sexual intercourse. All right, to back up that statement, here's an article published in the Emporia Gazette, February 7, 2023. Tanya O'Boyle, Library Media Specialist at Cameron High School in Cameron, Missouri. Cameron School Libraries follow guidelines published by MASL. By the way, that's not what the policy says. She's doing what she wants. She's not complying with the policy. She is following the MASL guidelines on the right to read. And this is rather telling too. Mrs. O'Boyle feels that individual parents should not be able to control access broadly. As a parent, Mrs. O'Boyle does not feel that I should be able to restrict the content that she has provided in accordance with the guidelines published by MASL. The parent should not be the one to decide. The librarian and the organization MASL should. It's wrong. That is the official position of MASL, the right to read. If the child wants to read that content, they should be allowed to read it.
However, being within a school, we are guided by the same principles that any educator is. And one of the major pieces of that is in local parentis. So in absence of their parents, we're serving as their parents while they're in our school buildings.
All right, now combine the statement of the MASL president and that of Tanya Boyle. Feels that the individual parents should not be able to control access broadly because they're acting as the parent. That statement further explains why they're putting these books in here. When they're adding these books, like Gender Queer, they know what's in those books. They know the content that they're providing to our children. The justification in why they're doing that is they believe the Missouri Association of School Librarians, they believe that while our children are in that public school building, they are acting as the parents. Therefore, because they have been trained, I'm doing air quotes here, and they have determined that it is appropriate for a child to read content that the state has identified as sexually explicit, that it is okay for them to do so because they are acting as the parent.
Education, and our organization supports that through constant professional development in how to develop an age-appropriate and developmentally appropriate collection. So there's been
age and developmentally appropriate collection. Go look up Gender Queer, a book that is being recommended for students in the 5th grade to read. Look at the pictures that are in it and come back here and explain to me how that's age appropriate. It's not. Now, this woman, the president of MASL, the organization which has established the guidelines for the books that we will select, not we, that the librarian at the Cameron High School will select to provide to our children. She's going to comment on the lawsuit that they're involved with against the state of Missouri.
As far as what our organization has done, we do have pending litigation with ACLU Missouri. They're representing the Missouri Association of School Librarians, which is my organization, as well as the Missouri Library Association, which is the organization that represents public libraries in our state, as a means to overturn this bill or provide greater clarification about
their goal, and they state 2 of them. I will be fair. Their primary goal is to overturn the Missouri statute, which prohibits public schools from providing sexually explicit pictures to minors. The stated goal of MASL, the president of MASL, is to overturn Missouri statute, which prohibits sexually explicit pictures from being given to children. This organization is the one that has established the guidelines that has been adopted by the librarian at the Cameron School District for all of these books that contain sexually explicit content, either as per Missouri law definition that includes the pictures or the content, the words that I have been telling you about, the words that I have been reading to you. All of that is in the library because of this organization. They have established the guidelines that have been adopted by the Cameron School District. To the Cameron Board of Education, if you are watching this video and you're still here, I would ask that you would cut ties with this organization. An organization which does not believe parents should be able to control the access of their children to the books that are in the library. An organization that wants sexually explicit content to be in the hands of our children should not be setting any guidelines for our school district. MASL, the ALA, and other national library organizations are not accountable to the voter of Cameron. They're not accountable to the Cameron School District. These faceless organizations to which we cannot file a grievance, we cannot petition them to change their policies. They should not set any guidelines for our school district. The guidelines on the book selection for the Cameron School District should be set by the people of the community. Please adopt policy now. Protect our children from sexually explicit content.